Hey guys, this is Sarah. I found this receipt about like a Larry receipt, and it's about a few days old, but it's basically, if this is true, this is basically confirmed for me that there's no way I can like doubt Larry anymore. It's like I think all of us throughout the past maybe few months, maybe ever since March, we've been having maybe doubts about Larry more and more, maybe because of the lack of interaction. But because of this long ass receipt that I'm going to read to you guys about Larry, I just don't see how we can have any more doubts about Larry. Even if this is a platonic or romantic receipt, it doesn't matter. You guys probably already know about it because this receipt came out maybe about a few days ago. So maybe I'm just late on it, but I found it very interesting. Louie and Harry had one trailer while the rest of the boys had their own. When Jay asked why they had their own, he was told that it was because they were together and had been forever. Then he was asked how long specifically, and he was told before the band got together. I told him that wasn't possible because they didn't know each other before, and he shrugged it off. They act very coupley and almost like a new couple, like with heart eyes and silliness, his exact words. I asked him if he saw any cute moments, and he said it was all cute, really. They are a really cute couple. I then asked him if he saw them kiss, and he had to think about it, but he said he didn't think so. He said they were working in a very professional environment, but Louis especially seemed to always be looking out for Harry and making sure he had what he needed. That was what he remembered the most, them being so concerned and attuned to each other. He said that when it was their time to shoot alone, the other boys would be off somewhere relaxing, but Louis and Harry would be there watching the other ones shoot and encouraging them and making sure they had what they needed. That was what stood out the most to him when he thought back on it, and he had trouble picturing one of them without the other. They were together so much that people were referring them as Louis and Harry, like it was Niall, Liam, Zayn, and Louis and Harry. I asked him what he thought about the baby situation, and he wasn't familiar with it because he doesn't actually follow them. But when I filled him in, he literally said, Psh, that shit happens all the time. Hollywood has more fake babies than real ones. I will call friend's name tomorrow and see what he has to say, but I'm 100% sure it's a fake. A baby scandal is basically a rite of passage for a closeted gay guy. When we talked about them being in the closet, he said that you never would have known they weren't out because they don't seem to hide it at all. I told him that I think the only people they are really in the closet to are the fans, and he said, but surely you can tell. There is no way it's much of a closet. And I saw, well, yeah, some of us absolutely know that he was basically just confirming what I already knew, but that there are loads of people that refuse to believe it, and he was shocked. When I told him that they don't interact on stage, he was totally shocked to the point where he didn't believe me, and I had to show him some vids. After watching, he said, wow, it's almost like Louis avoids Harry, like he goes out of his way to, and that it was not at all what he would have expected after seeing them in a work situation all day. He also talked a lot, like a lot, about how gorgeous Louis is and kept calling him dainty and totally camp and so British, and that he was always just having fun. He said that Harry was quite a bit more serious, but was extremely nice and polite. So that's about it. Nothing he said was like revolutionary and pretty much just confirmed what we already know, but it was still nice to hear. Also, before you ask, yes, I am 100% sure this is legit. Jay is family to me. He would never lie to me, and I would totally trust him with my life. Okay, so basically that's the entire proof or receipt. It was very long. Sorry about that. I was trying to read it. It's very small. It was very blurry. But this has been going around for the past few days, and people have been quoting from it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, holy crap, if this is true, this is a person who has seen Louis and Harry in this work environment or seen them behind the scenes, the footage that we haven't seen. And to be honest, even though we think that Louis and Harry aren't hanging out with each other or they don't like each other, it's not true. The fact that like Louis and Harry are spending time with each other, looking out for each other, caring for each other, being protective of each other, it just proves that there is no negative or hate between them. Like they're okay, even if they're not together. To be honest, this whole receipt just kind of proved that they're in love. I mean, the person even said that they've been together for a long time. Still, after 5 freaking years, they are still cute as fuck together. And that's really important. Also, there was another receipt that went around saying that back in 2013, Harry was talking to this guy fan, and the guy fan asked him something about like him being with a guy or being gay or being with Louis, and Harry's like, yes, of course, always. So everyone in the Larry fandom knows about that now. I don't know details. If you guys know more about it, put it in the comments and talk to me about the yes, of course, always thing, because that was amazing. Maybe there's been more happening in the fandom, but you guys really should update me because I've been busy for the past couple weeks. So put all that in the comments about any receipts that you've read that I've missed that's happened recently, or any Larry that's happened recently, or anything I've missed in the fandom. And as always, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.